Welcome to my throne of history. Actually, it's a chair in my living room with a black sheet thrown over it. But in history, you need to learn to use your imagination. So you better start using yours. From this throne, imagination, come on. From this throne, I'm going to take you on a journey of 10,000 years in 23 weeks. Crash helmet and full harness 5-point seatbelt probably required. We're going to go from 8000 BC until yesterday. Back in the time of COVID, there's a bit more history for you. Back in the time of COVID, I made a video for each of those 23 periods for children who were out of school because of lockdown. We're going to start by looking at the video I made for this period, and then you come back here to my throne. You've got it, haven't you? Yep. Come back here to my throne and I'll give you some more information and some ideas at how you could have a go at living in that period.
Try to remember.
And here we are, 1976 till the year 2000. The last of our 25-year periods of history. All we have left is 2001 till now, 2021. Anyway, so let's look at the timeline for 1976 to the year 2000. And it begins with us trying to look for new energy supplies. 1979, we had an election and we got our very first female Prime Minister. 1981, there was a massive royal wedding and somebody tried to shoot the Queen, or possibly they shot a gun at the Queen during the Trooping of the Colour. 1982, Britain went to war with Argentina over some islands, or disputed islands, in the South Atlantic. 1983, we tell you about spying and how there are real life spies. It's not just James Bond, it does actually happen. And in 1985, I went on my first journey around the coast of Britain. 1992, the only reason you're actually listening and seeing all this is the birth of the World Wide Web. 2 years later, in 1994, we actually finished digging and opened the Channel Tunnel. 1995, I made my second coastal trip. And 1997, we had a Labour government for the first time since 1979. And then in 1999 there was a devolution for Scotland and Wales, and also a near solution for the problem that we'd had in Ireland. So you can read about that on the website. And in the year 2000, at the start of the year 2000, we all celebrated a new millennium. Incorrectly, because it wasn't actually the right year. We should have celebrated it at the start of 2001, but we didn't. Who cares? As usual, the hoots look at homes and clothes and food and daily life and culture in this time of great change, all in my lifetime. And the story this week is actually a true story that happened in 1982 when Henry VIII's flagship, the Mary Rose, which had sunk on its very first journey, it was lifted out of the English Channel and it was all on television, and I watched it with my son, and I've told you the story of that. So there we had it, the final 25 years of the 20th century. I think I've told you that we actually all celebrated things at the wrong stage, but I'm not going to go over that again. What else did we do? Well, we found a ship that had sunk about 400 years ago and dragged it to the surface and looked at it. We had devolution of power. to Wales, Scotland, and eventually to Northern Ireland. Different things were devolved to each of those countries. I made 2 trips around the coastline. Yep, 2 trips in this 25-year period. Must have been going fast. And what else happened? Well, as I said, we ended the second millennial. And there was also quite a lot of talk about spies. Have a go at history.
Welcome back. It's another Have a Go, and it's the penultimate one. Pretty close. Penultimate, it means the one before the last. The last one's the ultimate, penultimate, last but one. Okay? I've spelt it up there. Yeah, you saw it this time. The last but one, we are in the time we've called the birth of the millennials. It's from 1976 to the year 2000. And you can read on the website somewhere where I think the year 2000 wasn't actually the right time to celebrate the start of the third millennial, but we won't worry about that now. During this time, there was a story on the website. Go and have a look at it. We'll put which year it was up just above your head again. There we go. Go and have a look. But it was about spies. There were a lot of spies, and they had been since the Second World War. And what we thought would be fun was if you had a go at making your own code, a special code that nobody could read except you. So we're going to give you some ideas as to how you can do that. I was at school, was I? Yes, I was. No, when I was at school, I missed a word out there. When I was at school one day, my form teacher, the teacher that was taking us, was off ill, and the deputy principal came in, and he wrote some letters on the board, numbers on the board. There they are, you can see them now, and he said, okay, come back when you've got the answer. And off he went. So he left us for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then he came back, and I'm telling you this story for a reason, obviously, because I got the answer right. Yes, that's why. Only one person had worked out what the code was, because it was a code. And I have a reason to believe, although I may be wrong, that this deputy principal worked during the war on the Enigma code breaking team. I don't know whether I've got that story right, but I just thought I'd heard something about it. But anyway, he came in with this code, he came back, and he said, anybody got the answer? And I, very unusually for me, put my hand up, and I began to say how, and he said, no, I want the answer. So I said, 11 minutes. There you are. During the course of the next few minutes, we'll show you how this code worked. It's very, very simple code, and you might even have guessed it already, but then we'll give you a few other ideas that they used to send secret messages. Ha 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 ha. They didn't text them on their Apple. Definitely. Cool. Right. See you next week for the very last. That's because this one's the penultimate. Yes, I actually knew that. I'll take credit, yes, I am. We'll see you for the final, ultimate Have a Go. See you then, bye.
Right, so let's crack the code. Now the code that teacher left for us to solve was a very simple one. It was A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3. So that in the numbers he left us, A equals 1 and so on, it gave you that question. How long did it take you to solve this? Now that A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3 is a simple code, but you can try and make it more complicated by perhaps doing it backwards. So that Z equals 1, Y equals 2, X equals 3. Or you could do it so that depending on when you sent the message. If you send the message on Monday, M equals 1, N equals 2, so on. On Tuesday, T equals 2, T equals 1, U equals 2. I wouldn't be a very good spy. V equals 3, and if it was sent on Wednesday, W equals 1, 2 is X, 3 is Y. So, with all that knowledge, I'm going to leave you with a puzzle. There you are. Take a look at it. Bear in mind everything I've told you about starting at different times, going in different directions. What could it be? It's for you to find out. Okay, off you go, spy.
And so there it is. The end of the 20th century. We have gone from 8000 BC to 2000 AD. 10,000 years. Where do we go now? Well, except.
So this period ends at the end of 2000.
Yep.
Yet we had already celebrated the new millennium
Because.
at the start of that year.
Exactly, because we got it wrong.
We got it wrong.
Yes, the whole world, except me, got it wrong. Well, if you think about it, the first 1,000 years started with 1 and finished with 1,000, yes?
Yeah.
So the second started with 1001 and finished with 2000. So the third started with 2001.
Okay.
So that's when we should have celebrated the new millennium.
So it's almost as if people were counting the noughts.
Yes, and as we know, well, you may have a problem with because of maths, but basically in maths, nothing begins with a naught.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I do disagree though, in a way, because naught starts with an N.
Naught starts with an N. Yes, that's true. But anyway, we needn't worry about it because neither you nor I will ever celebrate another millennium. Sorry.